weeks, white boy can't jump. I got killers in my league throwing hands up. All these chickens wanna see till their plans cut. Oh shucks, split up my monopoly. You out here acting crotchety, cause someone serving fries might get a life and yours a comedy. And I ain't sneaking shots when I'm spitting on your discography. I hit you with the logo like I'm Caitlyn, dodging half your team to make it. Bitch, you making a payment, yo fuck the arrangement. Your judge got us waiting and Jack got impatient. So fuck all the labels you ain't in the race with, and what is you saying? Pointless as fuck, like you back in the Matrix. Hate it or love it, they got the Kong on top. Gotta rebrand, baby, the show might stop. Said she was kidnapped, but she was shot by cops. You want a chance, but then you split like Saj Isla. Oh, switch up, business, dip on, losing billions, 30 million, stolen, back on 7. T4, no drugs or gun, Keith Lee, back up, Donda, fucked up. Now who saw that coming? Okay now, opposites are on the chase too. Fifi out here like the Neptunes. Live service killing games off like a cow fucker with the bird flu. Season hop a couple years due. Dwayne isn't gonna endorse you. Hey, I'm making all your videos that get you mad at Netanyahu. Wanna do something, motherfucker? Bombing aid trucks, no cover. Beat their protesters on summon. Rap a poor cash out something. Brand new vibe on discussion. Difference from back in the day. This is the war in Iraq and the world turning and it's not even May. I never thought I would see any push. I never thought it'd be quicker than Bush. We've been complaining about it for years. You say you mad when you finally looked. You getting testy like Bill trying to smoke. Mad at Beyonce for covering Joe. Folding you up like we folding the stove. Or you like Puss and you losing a vote. Oh, you mad, huh? Oh, you mad, huh? I've been hearing that for weeks. White boy can't jump. I got killers in my league throwing hands up. All you chickens wanna see till their plans cut. Oh shucks. Oh shucks. Y'all suck. Fuck around and find out. Let's get it. Very quickly. Put a finger down if you were in a Target and you were going through the aisles and you finally found air filters in an aisle and you're like, oh my gosh, actually, maybe we should check on our AC air filter. And then you realize you haven't changed your AC air filter in like 4 years. And then you go back home, you tell your girlfriend, hey, we should go buy an air filter. Let's see how big this is. You buy the air filter. And then when you finally remove your AC air filter, you realize, oh, you didn't need to buy this at all. Your air filter is actually metal and reusable. Anybody want an air filter? Hey, thank you guys so much for watching Freestyle the News. If you like what you heard, please beat the shit out of that like button like a giant gorilla and lizard who were once rivals and enemies but are now friends as they journey to the underground world of Hollow Earth to fight another giant gorilla or like orangutan or whatever he is with a whip, and then another lizard who can spit ice apparently. And I know what you're thinking, why are the humans there? I don't know. I don't know what part they serve in this film. Just show me them fighting. And then leave a comment on your favorite bar. Yes, I saw Godzilla X Kong, The New Kingdom, and I have to say, an hour into the movie, I'm like, why did I do this? I feel like I'm falling asleep. And then after the first fight, I was like, this was worth the entire hour of almost falling asleep. The action in that movie is amazing. It's so fun. It's so dope. There's a lot of people who are dead, but it's amazing. I still haven't seen Godzilla -1 because it's harder to find than the 7 Dragon Balls, but eventually when I do, I'm super hyped for it. Guys, it's been a crazy week. I do have a couple of announcements to make up front. As many of you know, I'm Muslim, and this Wednesday is probably going to be Eid al-Fitr, which is the big Muslim, it's like Muslim Christmas. I'm just gonna say that so I don't have to like explain a bunch of stuff. It's like Muslim Christmas, only you like starve yourself during the day the month before. But of course that's Wednesday and I can't go hang out with my mom, my brother, and my sister that day because all of us work and are exhausted. So we're planning to meet up that weekend. We're not going to have a Freestyle the News this coming Sunday. Also, if the zooms and the graphics seem a little less frequent in this episode, that's because my editor Mario is actually on vacation as well in Japan. He decided that he needs to rest, which you bitch. I'm just kidding, Mario. I love you. I hope you're having a good time being in Japan
and not playing Helldivers 2 with me.
But anyway, let's just jump into this breakdown because we have a lot to talk about today. And this was a really heavy week, not in the amount of news stories, but in specific news stories that broke. A turning point in some regards to a lot of things that have been brewing for months. And let's start with California's minimum wage. A new law raising California fast food workers' minimum wage to $20 an hour has finally come into effect. And man, it's destroying America. If you go online to any of the worst people you know, you will see probably this image of an In-N-Out menu saying that In-N-Out's prices have raised. marginally. And it's because those filthy, shitty little fast food workers are making you pay for their free ride of being able to afford life. Are you gonna let that happen? Are you gonna let them take money out of your pocket while you sit in your miserable fucking chair and watch the same reruns of a show that was canceled 20 years ago? Are you gonna let them do that? And of course, that narrative has been around for a fucking while, but everybody and their moms is commenting on the fast food wage problems and how actually it's gonna raise prices drastically. And while there have been some price raises at fast food restaurants, there's been nowhere as significant as been reported. And I live in fucking California, where shit's expensive. Honestly, hearing people complain about this shit is infuriating for multiple reasons. As somebody who contracts people and pays people for different jobs, when I pay people just a little bit more, the work is just better. And everybody ends up making more money. And the cost to the consumer is slightly more expensive or just the same. You want better fast food? Pay for the workers. Your business will run way more efficiently. A lot of the motherfuckers complaining don't do shit. I'll pay the extra 20 cents on the burger. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're a fast food worker and you're getting this raise, how does it affect you? Hey, it's a day later and I wanted to add a couple stories in. And I should have been talking about this from the start, but let's talk really quickly about Caitlin Clark. Listen, even if you know nothing about basketball, if you've been around any sort of media in the last few days, you might have heard this name. Caitlin Clark is a women's college basketball player and the point guard for the Iowa Hawkeyes. She's the NCAA Division I's all-time leading scorer, and she's also regarded as one of the greatest college basketball players in history. A fact she cemented last week on the Iowa Hawkeyes rematch against LSU. Now, this was a big deal. The last bout between LSU and the Hawkeyes for the championship was an enormous news story, with Angel Reese, the forward from the LSU Tigers, also an incredibly talented player and a very good shit talker, talking shit to Iowa the whole game. And this rivalry was a huge story. Cut to this year, and oh man, it was supersized, with 12.3 million people tuning into the rematch, with people like Jason Sudeikis in the crowd, and with Clark putting on a clinic on how to surgically deliver a comeback.
Catch, fire, and hit. Down, evades Van Lith, and drains it. Again, coming off the screens. Clark steps back, fires, you bet.
It was a stunning game. And that was just the start of a week full of just stunning games. Oh man, women's college basketball is killing it this year. Tons of NBA players tuning in. People like Shaq even saying, like, I'm not even watching the men's division. The women's division is where it's at. And about fucking time. This has been cooking for a long time. The late and great Kobe Bryant wanted women in basketball to be far more recognized. LeBron has gone on record saying that women in basketball need to be more recognized. And Caitlin Clark may just be the person to do it. Some of these shots are just fucking insane. Now, a couple things I did want to touch on in this whole story. Number one, Angel Reese and the LSU Tigers. Now, Angel Reese has been considered a villain. You may say she's like Dylan Brooks, but you know, talented. I'm still not over it, bitch. And Reese does talk a lot of trash, but there was a ton of media scrutiny and eyes on Reese. A lot of antagonism towards her. Some of it feeling like it's not altogether about basketball. A fact which her coach brought up, like, hey,
called us dirty debutantes. Take your phone out right now and Google dirty debutantes and tell me what it says. I'm not gonna let you talk about 18 to 21-year-old kids in that tone. It's even sexist for this reporter to say UCLA was milk and cookies.
And I will kind of agree, there does seem to be an outsized level of antagonism towards Reese, which I do think is a little unwarranted. She's an incredibly talented player. Even that shit talk is sportsmanlike to a degree. As somebody who works in a competitive field, shit talk is what we love. Ask J. Cole and Kendrick. In esports, shit talk is like the fucking lifeblood of the fighting game community. That's
Nephew actually got his name from being known as Daigo's nephew. Now, he is Knuckle Dude's son.
That's what makes things hype. So that being said, Reese got her fucking answer, but she's still an incredibly talented, amazing player. And I can't wait to see other battles between her and Clark or wherever their futures take them. And secondly, I'm going to say, if I see one more fucking idiot guy open their dumb mouth and say,
Oh, I'd beat Caitlin Clark in the paint.
watching people with the most base, I'm about to peak in college level of understanding of how competitive things work. Talk about beating somebody who is at the top of their sport. It doesn't matter if she's in the NBA or not. Motherfucker, she's at the top of her sport. That is a whole other mindset you have never been at. Ever. Top player shit is another level, my guy. I pray and hope that they do some sort of exhibition where Clarks just cooks these motherfuckers. Cooks them. Because my favorite thing is watching people talk so much about basketball until they play a basketball player and realize, oh my God, this ain't 2K. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you are a guy who disagrees with me and says that, hey, actually listen, because of biology and because of the differences in the leagues, you know, I would beat Caitlin Clark in a one-on-one because I am an athlete. That's just the way things go. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And when you were dropped on your head as a child and how painful it was. I mean, like, how are you able to put your pants on in the morning? Is it difficult for you to kind of navigate through social? Just please let us know. We want to help. Very quickly, over the last few months, it's become more and more apparent how much the election cycle is starting to seep into our algorithms. As you know, social media companies like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all of them spy on you constantly, pull biometric data, pull habits, and feed you ads from an increasingly predatory industry so you could vote a certain way, so you could buy a certain product. You know what it is. This is a tacit agreement we bought into over the last decade about our data, about our habits, that they're available to the highest bidder for these companies. But even as we agree to it, we're still terrified because we don't know how many people are collecting our data and who it's being sold to. And that's why I personally am subscribed to Incogni, the sponsor of today's show. Just up front, I pay for my own Incogni subscription. I have for the last year, and I've seen significant changes in how I interact with the world around me. First off, I had a very compromised email address for quite a few years, just inundated with spam messages and junk and random people just texting me. And it took a month for me putting my email into Incogni for me to see a drastic reduction of all of that crap. Incogni, in case you don't know, is a set it and forget it solution to data privacy. They do all of the legwork it takes to find everybody who is selling your data without your consent, and they get it taken down. That means you don't have to do the legalese like run around to get them to take your data down. That means you don't have to seek out every single one of them. Incogni handles that whole process, and they give you a report card. This is my report card when I started with Incogni. This is my report card now. More stuff has gotten added as time went on, especially in an election cycle, and more stuff has gotten taken down thanks to Incogni. And if you go right now to incogni.com/Tabani and enter in the code Tabani, you can get 60% off an Incogni plan today. 60%? Wow, that's almost as much as the percentage total that Nelson Peltz got his ass kicked against when he was trying to take over Disney. Oh, Nelson. I really do believe in this thing, hence me paying for it, hence me having some peace of mind whenever I have a new app or thing that I gotta sign up for. So if you want some peace of mind and a better way to interact with this digital world that we live in currently, and if you like me rapping the news for 50 weeks and want to support the rapping news thing I do, go to incogni.com/Tabani, enter in the code Tabani, and get some peace of mind. All right. Back to the breakdown. And let's move on to Truth Social and Trump's hopeful boon. Trump's Truth Social stock debuted on the NASDAQ, reaching a high of $74. And this week it all came crashing down. No one needs to tell you Truth Social is not doing good, right? Like, it's pretty fucking obvious. Trump's valuation of the whole thing was absolutely way too high. And when the stock debuted, tons of Trump supporters pumped money into the stock because they thought it was their way to help Trump. Trump was happy with it because he needs money to pay his fucking legal bills. There were even meme stock investors pumping this motherfucking thing, driving the price up. By the way, if you want to know why I'm saying pumping, remember GameStop and AMC? Jordan Belfort would be proud. Well, this week, the stock crashed, dropping its value over multiple days to now being around $40. That is a loss of 46%, and it is not doing well. About $1.8 billion gone. And multiple experts are raising concern about the stock in general. Barry Diller, a billionaire chairman of Expedia, calling it a scam, calling the people who end up buying it dopes. Trump's media spokesperson responded, "It's unsurprising to see diehard Trump haters and left-wing flacks blow a gasket. Now the truth, I'm not reading this dog shit. Your stock lost 46%. I saw somewhere that it lost 49% of its value within the first fucking week. It's a fucking pump and dump scheme, bro. And I know some assholes are like, you don't know how the stock market works. I know how the stock market works. Your stock sucks, bro. You got no fucking users on there. I don't know how it is possible to make a platform worse than Twitter, but you did it. All right, let's move on to Israel and the bombing of the World Central Kitchen workers in Gaza. On Tuesday in Gaza, 7 workers from World Central Kitchen, an organization that provides food through humanitarian crises and other tragic events, were killed in a bombing in what is alleged to have been a targeted attack by the Israeli Defense Force. They had branded armored cars designating that they were from World Central Kitchen. They were in a deconflicted zone, and all 3 of those cars were struck by the IDF. And of course, World Central Kitchen was making significant efforts to provide food and aid to the people of Gaza at a time where many have accused Israel of perpetuating a famine against the civilians, which is getting worse day by day. And Chef Jose Andres, the founder and head of World Central Kitchen, was absolutely devastated and distraught. He had worked with some of those people. He knew them. They were his friends.
I know is that we were targeted deliberately, non-stop, until everybody was dead in this convoy. That cannot be the role of an army.
And if there was ever a moment, a clear epiphany and turning point in narratives, here it is. Widespread outrage pretty much filled every platform. It is hard to overstate how much of a smoking gun this is, and I know what you're saying. What about all of the other smoking guns that have occurred for the last few months, where Israel has been alleged to attack hospitals, attack civilians, given confusing information about where to go, and then bombed the place where they tell you to go? And to that I say, listen, this feels eerily similar, this entire situation, to the war in Iraq. Decades of propaganda on one side, as well as one significant tragic event, coupled with the hyperbole and the insanity of the internet, breaking those narratives and accurately depicting what is going on so that people don't get overwhelmed and engage is very, very difficult. Biden himself issued a press response saying he was really, really angry and that Israel has to take responsibility. However, the US still approved a weapons shipment that very day to Israel, with John Kirby at the White House giving this baffling fucking response to that.
Your question presumes at this very early hour that it was a deliberate strike, that they knew exactly what they were hitting, that they were hitting aid workers and did it on purpose, and there's no evidence of that. I would also remind you, sir, that we continue to look at incidents as they occur. The State Department has a process in place, and to date, as you and I are speaking, they have not found any incidents where the Israelis have violated international humanitarian law. And lest you think we don't take it seriously, I can assure you that we do. We look at this in real time.
They have never violated international humanitarian law ever in the past 5 to 6 months.
I'm telling you, the State Department has looked at incidents in the past and has yet to determine that any of those incidents violate international humanitarian law.
What? How do you have a job? That is an objectively stupid response to give in the middle of a press briefing when this happened. Now, since then, the pressure has mounted up significantly, and Biden did issue a warning to Netanyahu saying that, hey, listen, if there is not a change in the way Israel is doing things and the way aid is administered, there will be a change in U.S. policy. I am also angry that every headline for the last 3 months has been like, Israel does something horrific. Biden is really angry, and he's just, no, I'm so mad, but I'm not gonna do anything. You stinker, but I'm not gonna do anything. Actions absolutely speak louder than subtweets and shit talking at the end of the State of the Union. That being said, I think the last part, the thing about the US changing its policy, is a bigger deal than a lot of people are making it out to be. Of course, there is frustration with you constantly saying, I'm angry, but you threatening a change in US policy with Israel, which is the most blatant that has been spelled out, is a direct threat. That statement alone does actually fundamentally change US-Israel relations in a number of significant ways. I'm not holding Biden's water. He still needs to do more, but that's not nothing. Obviously, if Israel loses US backing, it is fucked. And again, that signaling sets the stage for a lot of things. 40 House lawmakers, including Nancy Pelosi, have already asked to stop weapons shipments to Israel. In Israel, Netanyahu is facing significant backlash and protests against his administration. The political climate for him was already bad. It has gotten to untenable. Biden explicitly calling for a ceasefire. And remember that zone of interest Oscar speech that a bunch of people signed on to decry? Well, a bunch of Jewish entertainers signed on to a counter letter defending that exact speech. All of these are prominently in the headlines, and I understand there is a very human toll to all of this, and it is frustrating that there is such a human toll while all of these politics play out. But I will also tell you, this is the war in Iraq. I remember being a kid during the war in Iraq and hearing constantly about civilians dying. A lot of Muslims were scared because there was tons of anti-Islamic rhetoric being thrown around in the early 2000s. I was terrified daily hearing about people dying during Ramadan or Eid. Also, situations that happened in Gaza where people were killed were also happening then. For a while, there was justification. No, we have to protect our freedom. Do you support the terrorists? How fucking dare you? Until as time went on, the toll became untenable. More and more people saw the human cost of all of this. Dismantling political talking points that were put in place by Bush Sr. and reinvigorated by 9/11 and the culture war. It took years for the headlines and the polls and the public to reflect the problems of that war. For this go around, it took 7 months. I think when we talk about the civilians and the absolute devastation of the people in Gaza, or the people in Iraq, or the people in the civil rights movement, or the people in the Armenian genocide, or any of these moments in history where a lot of people are unjustly put through torture and pain, they are all propped up by political talking points and slow procedure. And good news, the internet has made that procedure go quickly. Bad news, people still died. We live in a system that is grossly out of date with taking care of people. And if we want to fix that, if we want to actually adequately make strides, we have to understand how this political game works. We have to understand how monsters like Netanyahu can continue to get away with so much, and that we have to get to a point where the evidence isn't just the mass casualties and the innocent people that die finally waking them up, because it's not just callous, indifferent people. We live in a political system that's incentivized to fuck all of us, and understanding that everyone is a victim of that system. That is the first step towards actually fixing these problems. And I'm not saying like, oh, be nice to your oppressors. I'm not saying coddle people who are racist. I'm saying this isn't a surface level problem that gets solved by just pointing out horrible things people are doing. It takes work to dismantle this fucking horrific knot that we're in. I think that we are getting there. I am horrified by what's happened in Gaza, and fuck Benjamin Netanyahu. You're a piece of shit. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Again, I understand it's a very nuanced take. I am not holding anybody's water, but I'm passionate about making sure this kind of shit doesn't happen again. And I've seen how propaganda affects people in ways that enables the worst people to have the most power. And anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. Go check out last week's Freestyle the News. Go check out Zaid Talks. Go check out Let 'Em Cook. If I don't see you on Wednesday, Eid Mubarak. Anyway, my name is Tabani. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon. Let's go.